a series win.
Yeah, it's a lot of minutes as well. Our fastest game has been like 21 minutes, so I don't know if that's possible.
I don't know what the record is for holding your breath, but you know, maybe we have the world record holder right now. Hopefully that Pearson. But yeah, let's get into the bans. So I think we've had a situation where on blue side you're able to ban more specifically. Red side you're kind of just banning the OPs. The Yone ban, super high value against this HLE team. Sejuani I think also syncs with the fact that Zeka likes to play a lot of melee solo laners. Gwen and Vi just strong. Still the Jace available, and Jace does pretty well into both Rumble and Mbessa, so maybe a priority first pick. Nobody carries banned yet. Varus, Kalista usually the ones that are prioritized in the bans. Kalista gone now.
Yeah.
So HLE, I don't think you're really pressured, because I mean if you ban Varus, they could just pick Jace. Maybe you just leave the Varus open. I guess maybe then DRX take Varus and you trade the top laners, but I think ZEUS on Jace will beat Rich on Mbessa or Rumble, so I think you'd be happy with that trade. I think maybe you just ban something a little bit different here, maybe a lower priority thing that you think DRX would lean on. They instead ban the Varus, so now I think DRX should just take the Jace in this situation. I think, you know, Rich is going to hopefully use that to have a good matchup against ZEUS. Yes, ZEUS is a very good top laner. I'm not saying that Rich is going to stomp ZEUS with this, but I think you definitely don't want to let ZEUS have the Jace in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think it's allowed, and that does mean that Rich will have to wait to play his Mbessa until maybe Game 2 or Game 3 if it does happen. Rumble, the other big pick that isn't Mbessa. You don't really want to play Mbessa into this anyway. Xin Zhao as well, extremely high prio. The guys yesterday were talking about it a lot, and Peanut has been loving this pick as well.
Yeah, I think here maybe they could end up going for match jungle, maybe pick up something like a Zera in the mid lane. I think it makes sense for Yukal. I feel like just also Poly as a denial, because I feel like Zeka would be happy to pick that up as well. In terms of jungle picks, you know, I mean, they're going to pick the Neferi. Sponge did have that pop-off game. I was thinking maybe they'll lean towards the Skarner. And they actually go for Talia as well. So I think Talia does pretty well into the Xin Zhao. Also, fine matchup into the Azir in case they think Zeka's going to take it. But opting to prioritize the pick that I think has been rising in priority. We saw Fake have a fantastic game on it yesterday. A lot of mobility on the map and shutdown potential. And Zeka is just going to go for that Ahri, which is a matchup where obviously you dash a lot on Ahri, but you have so much mobility, you can kind of skirt around the Unraveled Earth.
Yeah, it's a strong pick in general. It works with Xin Zhao, and also it takes away any potential, you know, Ahri Vi, Ahri Viego, if HANWHA Life Esports does eventually go to the blue side, or if DRX do get a second chance at it. So going to take those duos away for the future here in Fearless. And now we're going to be looking more at the bottom lane, especially some of the OP picks down there. The Ezreal taken off the board.
Yep. HLE have counterpick in this situation, but also could just end up prioritizing something to Delight on 4. We've seen teams move towards that a bit, where you're like, okay, we're that confident, we're going to take Alistar on 4, even though it sets you up potentially playing into a pick that has a good matchup. But I think with DRX composition, with the fact that you have Talia and Neferi mid-jungle, you really want CC from your support. Platter has got, you know, he did unfortunately get his first loss on Rel this year in the last series, but other than that was undefeated on challenges on it, so that could end up being a priority. Poppy gonna get banned now by HLE. Ash already taken away MF, one of the 80 carries, long-range 80 carries, it's still there, but I could see you maybe just banning the Alistar if you want the Rel, instead going for the Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, it's another strong pick for Delight that Poppy is quite good into. I just don't think you're really wanting to play Rakan into Talia anyway, so
yeah, I think
maybe could have gone for like a Rel ban or an Alistar ban instead.
I think the Alistar ban might have been better, because I think Delight does this, and then if Pleta goes for the Rel, which is a pick he's very comfortable on, yeah, you're really fine with that matchup. So I think maybe the Rakan ban, a little bit of a miss there. They're looking as well to potentially prioritize the Xayah in this situation. I mean, the composition from HLE isn't that long range, but you don't know what 80 carry you're playing into yet from Viper is my only concern.
Xayah's definitely been climbing in terms of her tier list. I think a lot of teams recognize that she has a very safe laning phase, long range, and can scale pretty well. And so into a lot of different lanes, she does pretty good. No recon for them, so they're just going to go for the Nautilus instead, avoiding that Rel for now.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's a fine decision to make. I think the Rel gets shut down a bit more by the Alistar. And now for Viper to decide on the pick. He is hovering the 380 carries you'd expect. Well, flicking between them and looking like they're going to go for the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa into Xayah, a matchup we've seen a lot of times before. A lot of follow-up, especially when you have an Alistar and an Ahri to give you that setup. So I think both opponent, but as you said, I just kind of want to see them show what they can do and come out with a strong performance game one. Because we've seen plenty of game upsets so far in the LCK and some series upsets.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We'll see if they can catch HLE sleeping here, but ZEUS on the Rumble, definitely a scary prospect. Let's jump onto the Rift for game number 1.
오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, game number 1 of the day. We've been having a lot of 6 gamers. The last couple of days were both 6 games. And we also recorded the Pog State after, after that Sunday day. We've been having some long work days, but at least the games have been interesting and back and forth.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. I was obviously sometimes you get game series you don't expect to be a 3-gamer, like the Gen G series, but it's always hype when there's the potential of the upset. I think going into this week, I kind of looked at it as like, all these matchups seem pretty straightforward. All the predictions, most of them were similar, but there's always upsets, and I think that's what makes it always interesting to see which series will deliver and which will just go as planned.
Yeah. Our predictions, as you mentioned, pretty, you know, similar. Atlas took a chance with Nongshim yesterday. He almost paid off. It almost paid off for him. I believe that Dion has gone bro at some point this week.
He went bro in the next series, but not at the Saturday Showdown.
Yeah. I thought once a Giga Chad, always a Giga Chad, you know? And then you got to always vote for bro. You got to pay your bro tax.
Yep.
Digon, you know, he's in the chat. He's doing in the chat anyway. But as a professional here at the LCK, I think he should be required to always vote for them as well.
I agree. It's the prediction payment bro tax, you know?
It's the LCK staff bro tax. Yeah. You know?
Oh, looks like HLE going to get level 2 first slightly here. So they have to be a little careful.
Yeah, Pleta not respecting this, trying desperately to get the level 2. He's going to take a bunch of damage and lose his flash.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, in terms of summoners, it's a slight trade-up for DRX, but a lot of pressure lost and a lot of health lost, so we'll see the health potions ticking over. Fortunately, was far enough away that the Light couldn't, like, get behind him and knock him back with a headbutt. But, yeah, not an ideal start of the lane. I think ultimately just tried too hard to contest that level 2 when it was pretty clear Viper and Delight were going to have it in the bag. Yeah.
Sometimes that can be a communication issue as well. You know, maybe Teddy and Pleta, it's been a while since they played together, so maybe Teddy was like, no, we can't go for this. And Pleta was like, no, we can. I've got a charge. I'm going to do it. Yeah. But wasn't meant to be, and he does get punished.
Yeah. Ultimately, Delight doing a good job of headbutting him away from the minions. I think bought a bit of extra time. But yeah, no massive change really come out from the bot lane. Pleta's healed up, still has the ignite advantage for a little bit of time. So we'll see if anything comes from that. Right now, you can see Rich has the pressure in the top lane, but ZEUS doing a pretty fine job of just farming and holding up. Not fun playing into Jace as a melee champion, but you know, Rumble is decent at being able to farm with the harpoons and shield up some of the poke.
Yeah, he is effectively ranged with his harpoons, at least.
Oh, I mean, HLE's bot lane's really pushed up. And Sponge, this is a flashless Alistar. This should be a pretty easy setup for a kill.
Yeah, the timing of this as well. And he's going to get hooked. But it does take a bit of damage. But Delight is so low, I think Sponge might just be able to kill him by himself. He doesn't even have cooldowns to knock this dog away. The flash on in, and Delight is in a lot of trouble. First blood also given over to Teddy. And that is pretty gigantic for him. Let's see if Peanut can get something going here as they're trying to take out Pleta. And now Sponge in a bit of trouble. The burst damage coming out from Viper's passive, and they will trade it back. So Peanut able to get some back for the team.
Yeah, good trade back and return and good target priority. You know, force Pleta to disengage and then focus down Sponge. I'm wondering maybe if Pleta had just like committed for the play and did focus damage on a Peanut, if they could have made something happen and traded a kill, but very risky if you do go for that in that situation. I think they just decided to say, fine, we'll 1-for-1. Platter goes here, and he doesn't want to like get turned on, so he does like a short trade, chunks Delight and sets up the root, but doesn't overcommit to the play. Sponge comes in, and even though the Pulverize is there from Delight, the flash means he can secure it. I think one of the things, if he saved the flash, then it would have taken longer to get a kill, but maybe could have run away here. And I think, yeah, Platter... It's hard to say. I think maybe if they'd gotten Peanut, I think the problem is Teddy has no mana. I think maybe if Teddy had a bit more mana, they could have maybe turned on the Xin Zhao, but opting not to, and I think taking the one-for-one trade is the safer route in this situation.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, you know, at least Teddy is up a kill, whereas Peanut was the one who got the kill on the side of HANWHA Esports. We're going to have our lane swaps here right away, as is the way of the LCK. And both these bot lanes are just going to go up to the top side as the Grubs are spawning in. We do have some big changes that were announced that are eventually going to hit the Rift. I'm not sure exactly when, but hopefully soon. I do like the changes.
We're on 25.07. Next week, I think we'll go to 25.08. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll go to 25.09, which is when the new changes are. So it's a while for the LCK, but it will happen in our season, in this part of the season, you know, win round 1 and 2. Maybe round 2. At the start of round 2 could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, still a while away for now. They are looking for Platter here.
He's going to get the Aftershock off, but he doesn't have Flash, and he can't hook to a wall. So you talked about this Nautilus having trouble if HANWHA Esports gets fed, but he's already having trouble.
Yep. Good setup there, honestly, from Delight, finding a good flank angle, and then Peanut just comes in for the nice setup. And now, without your support on the map, can you really contest these Grubs? They're going to try, you know. Zeka's dealing with a wave mid, so maybe they can steal away one. I think that's the game plan here.
And then Sponge sitting around. Peanut didn't use this smite for the first one. Now he's going to use it to secure the second one. And now Sponge just going to get zoned away, goes into his untargetable. But here comes Zeka in with the Spirit Rush. And DRX, I think they stuck around for way too long, and they will be punished for it. The flash on in from Peanut as he is feasting on them. Oh, a lot of feathers, though. And now maybe they chased a little bit too far. Zeka, though, is trying to rejoin. They both get stunned on the rocks. And this is turning into a very dirty fight, but still, it looks like HANWHA Esports barely will come out ahead.
Zeka has no mana, but Viper had lethal tempo stacked up. Yukal backs away. And HLE coming out ahead in that fight, but Teddy nearly making the hero play there. And we'll see a replay of Yukal replay. There we go. Okay, so Platter gets focused down here. Not much you can do to escape this. Unfortunately, wasn't able to queue away to a wall. Maybe a bit of an over position there. And then here, I think DRX making a mistake contesting this, given that, you know, it really wasn't in their favor. Platter was coming back on the map, and they only had a limited time window where Zeka wasn't there. And the RE comes in after Sponge gets tagged, and it's pretty favorable initially. You know, you see the charm connect on a Sponge. Sponge gets completely deleted. But this follow-up fight, you know, so much has been focused onto Sponge and then onto Platter that we end up seeing Teddy get this massive blade pull. And then Yukal repositions around the fight. This flash as well was pretty fantastic. He did get stunned by the Talia, but you know, Teddy with the reactions, and he unfortunately just not able to finish off Viper, because I think if Viper dies, Yukal just kills Zeka with no mana.
Yeah, wasn't much that Zeka could do, just trying to auto them down at that point. Still going to be a HANWHA Esports lead, and they got the third Grub, as Peanut just after the fight, he went right back to the Grub, picked it up, and there was no real trade for DRX. You know, they didn't get the Dragon or anything like that. Sponge just went right back to farming, so everything at the moment really going in favor of HANWHA Esports.
Yep, you see some gold leaves across the map. Interesting, ZEUS ending up with a farm advantage in this matchup, but also a bit of a CS lead for Viper over Teddy.
Oh, smited that away, did Peanut, and yeah, Sponge is going to get untargetable, but he gets knocked up here as well. The knockback from the Drake actually going to help a little bit. There's a nice hook from Pleta, but already the Spirit Rush has been used. And so they're not going to overcommit onto that one, but it should mean that HANWHA Esports do get this Drake.
Yeah, in a normal situation, burning the ult of Zeka and getting him this low could mean that DRX can go for a fight, but they already committed Teddy to the top side. Oh, we're going to see a look in here.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to go for it. Might as well. Nice little steal. And as Nefiri, maybe he can do something. He's going to go untargetable, but no flash, and yeah, he's going to pay for it with his life.
I think it's worth it, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't really lose anything else other than that singular kill. You get the Dragon secured. You know, it obviously never feels good having to die in that situation, but I think Sponge can be happy with that one. I think maybe if there was an angle to ult in, and then he could save his dash to get out, maybe that would have been something that worked out better. But regardless, I think he's happy. I guess he didn't quite have vision of Peanut with where this ward is, just off the, like, he knew where the dragon was. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. I think with trade for Sponge in this situation.
Yeah. Could have gone worse if he missed his smite.
Yeah, if he didn't get the smite, absolutely would not have been worth.
Yeah.
I think goes without saying.
I also feel like, especially up against really strong teams here in the LCK, if you get behind in gold early, it feels so bad nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a meta thing or if our teams have just gotten that much cleaner. As Equalizer is going to come down here from ZEUS. He's up a level, misses both harpoons. Okay.
I think part of it is just how the game is at the moment. There's so many objectives spawning so frequently. You have Grubs, Dragon, Herald, Soul, Atacant, like so much stuff to contest that if you fall behind, you don't really get a lot of time to wait, you know? I feel like previously when there was less objectives in the game, you had like longer downtime windows where you can go, okay, let's try and find a pick or something, or let's just farm up and scale. Now it's like if you're not strong enough to fight, you just snowball so hard because you lose all these objectives on repeat.
Lose so much.
Yeah.
And I think the greater the gold gap, the worse it gets. But we've had a lot of games where it's like, especially when it's a stronger team facing a weaker team, which will amplify it, magnify this effect. But it'll just be like, well, 12 minutes in, they've got like a 2,000, 3,000 gold lead. The game feels kind of donezo, you know?
Yeah.
It's just not a good feel.
Does end up feeling rough. You know, you talked a bit about the changes potentially coming in. Maybe they will adjust that. Some good poke from Sponge onto Delight, but not sure how.
Yeah.
I mean, they could contest these Grubs if they really wanted to. They are at a bit of a deficit. I think the main thing is we're seeing some big item spikes come in, the Malignance and the Sundered Sky. I mean, I guess they have got the Sundered Sky matched with the Eclipse. But Yukal kind of sitting on a bit of nothing in his inventory right now. You know, these aren't the items that, I mean, they're good for laning.
Yeah.
Don't really inspire joy for a team fight when you have Catalyst. Oh, no. But
preparing to scale. Yeah, he's getting TP'd behind. Pleta does have his flash, and the TP takes about 5 million years. Now they're just going to turn on to Zeka, though, and he gets blown up immediately, and Pleta is able to get away as well. The feathers are on the ground. It looks like DRX do not want to overcommit. They got their pick, and they'll just back away for now. A lot of low health bars on their side. They might still try to compete for this one.
Rich can TP back in. Pleta's going to take a while longer. Look at this flank from Delight, though.
Oh, boy. Yukal in a lot of trouble. The flash on in into the equalizer there, just burnt to a crisp in the choke points. Teddy looks like he barely does survive. Rich does get back, and they are going to turn it here onto Delight, but you're trading your life just for the support, and you're going to lose these Grubs as well.
Yeah, I think the big thing was the equalizer wasn't used in that initial fight by ZEUS, and Delight's patience on this Alistar, so good, able to turn that around. I think DRX needed to play it slower, needed to wait for the TP to come in and get some poke down for the Jays. Just went a bit too fast.
Yeah, they absolutely did, and they got caught in this really rough position as well on the map.
Yeah, so Pleta looks like he's in a bit of trouble, but able to use the Dredge line to get some distance, and then this great turn onto Zeka. Instantly, full CC chain, no chance to play the game, but a lot of return damage comes in. And maybe DRX can be forgiven for thinking the equalizer was down, but it definitely wasn't. It just came up now, and look at Delight. Yukal wants to flash the combo, but can't hold his nerve. Flashes too early. Delight catches them both. Equalizer on top. Beautiful play by the HLE support. And then Rich, yeah, does trade kills, but not really worth.
Yeah, I mean, he has to go in to finish off the Alistar that had like 100 health with his ult up, like has to hammer jump straight into them, right?
Yeah.
We have another fight brewing here as HLE getting pretty deep for this one. All that damage on the Sponge, that was only Zeka.
Yeah, something to say is that we're seeing the Malignance build from Zeka, not the Rod of Ages. You know, we've seen the Rod of Ages, Bruiser Ari become very popular, but like Faker went the Malignance build. You are squishier, you are more vulnerable to being bursted, but your ult is up so much more with that, not just the ability haste on the item, but the ultimate haste. So you have a lot more freedom to go for like plays in between fights, you know, not just playing around, oh, I need my ult for this big fight. You can threaten a lot more, and I think that's why they were a bit hesitant to go on him, because even if you burn the ult, it's like, well, it's not going to be long before he has it again.
Yeah, also in between big fights, you know, if you have your ultimate available more often, you can survive even if you don't have as much health just because you have Spirit Rush available.
Yeah, there's some times where you have Rod of Ages, you're quite bulky, but you're just dead no matter what.
Yeah.
You know?
You
If
just don't have your ult. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I was Ahri and I assumed I would have my ult, but oh. And some of that comes down to feel as well, where players are like, I generally have my ult at this time, but oh, I'm not building Malignants anymore. HLE are going to get another Drake, it looks like. I say another, but they're going to start another Drake. This time they should get this one.
Yeah, they kind of had a lock on all these neutral objectives this game. I actually think that's why the steal earlier from Sponge was pretty significant, because it's bad, don't get me wrong, but if you were facing 6 Grubs and 2 Dragons, you'd be in a really rough state. But the fact, it's a very faint silver lining, we'll say, for DRX, but it does mean they're not facing 2 Dragons for HLE right now.
So, didn't we have like 5 Chemtech souls yesterday? I feel like it was 5 in a row, or even 6 in a row.
You know,
and now we have another one? I remember them talking about the statistical probability of this happening for the amount of Chemtech souls we had yesterday, and now we have another one?
you know, sometimes it does be that way.
But like, this is getting to the point where it's like, maybe this isn't supposed to happen like this. I mean,
know. we had that bug before that apparently was a thing for a while. Was it just like where we didn't get a single, I think it was for like all of 2025, we didn't have a single first 2 Dragon being Chemtech.
Yeah.
Which obviously, I assume skewed it a bit towards having more Chemtech souls.
Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, you know, definitely not my fault.
I mean, you are casting, you're very locked into this somewhat close game.
Focused on the wrong areas, you know.
Yeah.
I should be focused on the Dragons.
Just staring at Pleta.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. You're just watching his every move, trying to learn.
Hoping things start going a bit better for him in this game, because it's not been too much of a fun one to be playing Nautilus. And right now, HLE 2,000 gold, 2,300 ahead. They're in a strong position. They're starting off this Herald with confidence. Will we see DRX contest it? Rich does have TP, but he's a Jace. You kind of want him there a bit early. Alternatively, could just focus. Okay, he's TPing in. They want to make this a fight.
I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to. Look at this! CC Chain comes in onto Sponge. The Kaisa ult goes in. Viper is very deep on this one. Doesn't have his flash. Maybe assumed he would, but he just kind of went in and traded his life for it. But still, ZEUS here with the equalizer. They're just holding the token, waiting. They're going to drop that one on top of Teddy and just zone him. And it's another one fight, another objective that should go the way of HANWHA Life.
Pretty poor approach there from DRX. I feel Sponge kind of just walking in, getting picked by the charm, and then we kind of see a repeat from Pleta. And that's considering Viper kind of ran it a little bit with the ult.
Just
like,
a bit, yeah.
Just, you know, okay, what is your goal in this fight? Your goal is to get the Herald, right? Look at Sponge's HP. Even if he lives, which I'm not sure he would with the Ignite, is he in position to smite the Herald? No. I don't think Viper needed to ult in there, but I also think that Pleta, I mean, him and Sponge both did the exact same move of step up when you don't have vision, get caught and die. So not ideal from the support jungle of DRX, but also Viper giving a little bit of a freebie over, because I think Sponge was probably just dead.
Maybe Viper's also a Pleta fan, and he's like, you know what, I gotta make them look a little bit better here. I gotta give them a chance. You know, he's feeling a little bit bad. That absolutely didn't happen, but Ox can...
More likely, it was the 80 carry brain where he's like, I could get that kill.
Yeah.
That kill could be mine.
It could be for me.
And then he gives over gold, but that doesn't matter to him, you know?
Yeah.
The thing is, he gets gold, right? Think about it that way.
Who did he give it to, though? He gave it to Teddy, I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
So, is it worth it?
Whoa, it's not about worth, right? The way an 80 carry views it is it's like, okay, Viper got more gold, and Viper's Viper, so he's going to make things happen with that gold. Whatever else happens, irrelevant, you know?
You know, one of the changes they did announce is a change to the bounty system as well.
Yeah.
Take a look at the bounty here on Teddy's head. He's got 112 gold.
Yeah.
On a team that's, you know, they're not massively behind, but also they feel good if they're behind in a significant matter, and if Teddy gets caught, they get extra gold from ahead. Probably not. So I felt like that was also a good change.
Zeka does have his ult, as he will in most scenarios with his Malignance.
Do you think Rich has his ult?
I'm going to wager yes if he's looking for this play.
Probably, yeah.
Probably. We'll see if he ends up using his ult in this situation. Does use his ult.
He did miss his shock blast onto Zeka. And so Rich takes more damage. Blood is just kind of here. He's got a disengage cone to help him out.
Yep, managed to dip away from that one. A lot of cover for Zeka there, but does burn his ult. They'll be down for another, what, like 60? Not even 60. It's not, is it? It's not long. You can see it ticking away already. Look how fast it's going. It's like 40 seconds or something.
I'm going to say 56.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Very specific.
Oh, he just got a Leandri's too.
Yep. ZEUS will come top and finish off his tower. And now Dragon up. DRX don't have to contest this. There is an Atakan on the other side of the map. It is a voracious Atakan. But I have a feeling DRX will fight this, even though they don't have to.
That has been their MO this entire game. It's like, we must fight over every objective.
They are a little behind in terms, mid lane's behind in item spikes, 80 carry. I mean, yes, they have 2 items each, but the Navori, not the Navori, the Yuntal plus IE is a lot of damage. That's IE's expensive, At least I will say Rich is in a pretty strong spot. They actually just picked up the Black Cleaver from Sponge, so some spikes coming in on the other side. We'll see if they want to make use of them. I think one thing is that Yukal doesn't feel very strong now. His Rod of Ages is 8 out of 10. He hasn't got the Seraphs, even though he's got the tier stack. You'd be forgiven for just not fighting this, and DRX take the reserved call, which I think is also the correct call.
Yeah, just give it away. I mean, it's just one Drake, right? It's not a big deal. As Ox to highlight that there was a 0 gold difference between our top laners, and then it was 1.
Yeah, and then it shifted. I always find it just interesting in the middle of a game when they have different farm, different kills, different everything, and it's just like 0. Yeah. Just for a moment. It just always, especially because it's like you're used to the red and blue, and then you just see the white stand out,
Yeah. It does feel pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty neat.
In the middle of a game. So far, the gold difference over time, though, has been very steadily just about 2,500 in favor of HANWHA Esports.
It's not so good. It's not so hot,
It's not totally out of hand, though, as they're going to look for the light here. He holds his nerve, not even going to use his ult.
Yep.
Just walks away.
You see the short trade coming out from Pleta, not wanting to commit full CC combo in case you get pulverized and turned on with the ult, but they'll get a bit of poke down on Delight, force him to recall. And also, Yukal now has that fully stacked Seraphs. It is 1 stack away from the Rod of Ages coming through. So I think it needed Power Spike coming in for the Talia, who's felt a little bit muted, just especially compared to the Ahri so far this game. And honestly, I think gold lead in favor of HLE, sure. We've seen games in much worse states than this. From DRX's perspective. I don't think it's completely doomed yet, even though things haven't been going in their favor. The gold lead hasn't ballooned, I think, is the main takeaway from the gold graph we saw earlier.
There was definitely a big bounty that went over to Teddy from Viper when Viper went down that one time.
Yeah, that one time.
Yeah.
He needed an ult in, though, right? He needed the kill.
He really needed that kill. There was also, I mean, we're even on turrets, right? So there isn't a lot of map winning at the moment from the side of HANWHA Esports. They're attempting to go for a Otacon throw, is what I'm calling it nowadays, because our teams just love to do this. Start it up, hope they don't see you, and then be, indexed into it when it's too late, and then you just get, demolished because all your resistances are gone.
Yeah, you saw even, it hadn't been hidden Peanut for much, but the damage came through from Sponge with the Black Cleaver shred as well, and just like the Q was doing so much to Peanut with the bleed. So not want to throw the game over that. They will kind of get this freebie mid-tier 1 just from DRX responding to the Atakan. Won't quite get it yet, but it's pretty close. Remember, 6 Grubs. That dot is pretty significant. And now looking for Rich in the bot. Oh no, Rich. Back off, back off, back off.
Oh, they're TPing in. They want to fight this as the TP came out first, and Rich is going to flash on over to it, but he might just be dead anyway. As Peanut, though, is going to get knocked back. It looks like he doesn't want to go for the fight, neither does ZEUS anymore. Down does come Zeka, though. You can see on the minimap, he's about to get here, looking for Rich. Misses the charm, doesn't matter, gets the kill as the mist flash. No! Nobody wanted to see that, especially Yukal and the guys on DRX. As a nice hook does come in from the side of Pleta, but Might just index them into another fight here as Peanut is still going in, finally gets taken down, but he will be traded out as 2 kills goes to ZEUS. And now HANWHA Esports have really opened the game up.
Just funneling in one after another, and some mechanical misplays, some DRX completely put them in the hole. So, you know, the concept of this play isn't terrible. You're like, okay, Rich, play bait, I'll come in and cover you. The problem is, Zekka's going to get there. He's the first reinforcement, and Rich already took so much damage. So, Yukal's starting to put some rotations down. But, like, Zekka's coming in. He sees Rich low, gets an easy cleanup. Yukal fumbles the flash here, really unfortunate. And then in this fight as well, Zekka gets a phenomenal charm, because I actually think Teddy and Pleta could afford this if Teddy didn't get charmed here. But the fact he does, he loses so much of his health. He has to commit ult and flash to kill Peanut, and then he's just too low to do anything. Like, Teddy has damage, but unfortunately, getting hit by that charm kind of rendered it a little bit moot. And now Sponge just getting, run down by Viper and the Light. Red buff killing him.
Yeah.
And it went from a situation where, you know, there's a slight goal deficit of about 2,000, 3,000 for a while. It's now 6,000, almost 7,000. Sorry, it is just 6,000. It's not almost 7,000. But yeah, it's a significant lead.
Almost
for
6,000.
Okay.
Yeah. That's 6,000 now. They're going to get the Otacon, though, unless Sponge can somewhat steal it away. I don't know how you somewhat steal away an objective. Let's see. He's going to get over the wall. He goes on target. He steals it away. Sponge, the hero play. And he even gets a kill here on a Peanut. Not half bad. As now the withdrawals come in, but that's going to be a lot of money that does go over to HANWHA Esports anyway. We'll see if they can get some kills, but Zekka does go golden. That means that Teddy can't really join the fight, so it's just 800 extra gold given over to HANWHA. As Teddy here is going to be equalized. No flash available, but he does have his Blade Caller. As, the timing a little bit late there from Teddy.
Yeah, I think the cooldown wasn't quite available. And now that Adakan's still kind of irrelevant. Only Teddy has it, and we'll see here. So I think DRX, the steal is great from Sponge. I honestly even think the kill on a Peanut is fine. But I think here you just have to disengage. The ult in coming out from Fleta, from Yukal, and the follow-up I think was just too much, you know. Yes, you have, it means less that you die in this way because of the buff, but it's not meaningless. And I think ultimately getting the Adakan and then also trading lives with Peanut for Sponge would have been fantastic, but everything that came after was kind of just a bit of a mess, especially since Teddy wasn't there. Teddy is your strongest member, and he just wasn't present. And now it's going to be Dragon for Baron, which is definitely not a good trade, and not even one they're wanting to take.
We've seen so many fights like this where DRX are desperately trying to get in. Pleta has to frontline. He's just going to go down. As now, Miss Charm, nice dodge there from Yukal. But that's a kill onto Pleta. It does mean that HANWHA Esports will back off of the Baron, though. So no objective comes in. As that charm on the Fury never really going to hit, as they might just look for the Dragon instead.
The Light's on the flank.
Yeah, the Light is here. Now Teddy might just die first. He does have the withdrawal, but he's not in the fight anymore, as over the rocks go Peanuts, but he just doesn't care as Sponge goes untargetable, and they're just being hunted down one by one. Maybe Sponge gets away because he is Nefiri. But I think HANWHA Esports are okay with that.
He applies a misses, as does the Void Seeker. He can heal off this Grump. And it's a lot of low health bars, actually. There's no TP for DRX, though. I feel like if Rich came over, I honestly think they could have made something up. It's like how low HLE are, but I guess they just take the safe way out. Scrappy from HLE, but ultimately favorable. Pleta unfortunately misses the Light here. Kind of just walks up and gets deleted. Doesn't have the ult available. It does pull them off the Baron. But I'm trying to see how the Light found his way in here. So I think cleared that ward there and then just hex flashed over. Rich was looking for him and didn't find him. Gets his double pulverized combo. And then they just kind of brute force with the damage.
Viper is already so incredibly strong. Like, he is playing very recklessly at times, but it doesn't matter. He even had the arm guard, and he will complete a Zhonya's in due time here as his fourth item. He can kind of just do whatever he wants, especially because his team is also so far ahead. And he has gone for this build, also level 16, 2 levels ahead of Teddy, who again is the one Fed member, it feels like, on the side of DRX, but hasn't really been a big factor in these fights.
Yeah, it just feels like some fights are not set up for him, or he's not in position in time, or he's not there in time. And now I mean, as you said, Viper's so strong, but also Zeka has the Medjais with 10 stacks and those 3 items.
Wait, we could get double Medjais in this game. Zeus.
You get triple if Viper really wants to commit. Now look for the Baron, looking to siege top lane. We'll see if DRX can hold them off. We might have to give this one up.
Yeah, I mean, Equalizer comes down, and the flash on in from ZEUS. He wants blood right now. Goes incredibly deep for it, and yes, he will go down, but he sets up the fight for his team. He says, I want to be done with this game right now. I'm not wasting any time, as that guy just dies to the burn, and Zeka goes in. He is just rolling his face over the keyboard right now, as nobody can get away from him here, as it looks super pretty on the side of Zeka, as once again he has his moments right at the end of the game.
Just decimation, you know, there's some nice steals, some sponge, some decent plays at times, but for the most part, this was a HLE favored game, and this final push from them, they made it clear they have a gold lead, they know how to pull it off, and ZEUS wants this game over.
And he ended the game.